Hey, 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 what's up, Mr. and Mrs. America? Thank you so much for joining us today. This is the Ace Michael Show. I'm Ace Michaels, and I got things on my mind today. I think I must be crazy. That's what I think that's going to be the title of this particular show. I think I must be crazy. Ha- Is there anybody else out there like me that feels like you might be crazy? Like you're the only one who gets it. And so that must mean that everybody else gets it and you're the one that's wrong? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, have you had that feeling recently where you're like, okay, this just don't make sense. Everybody else seems to be dancing to this tune, and I don't even know the beat. Like, what's going on? Why am I the one who seems to get it? I can't be the only one who actually gets it. So that
Mm,
means I must be the one who doesn't get it while everybody else seems to get it. That's got to be the only excuse. That's got to be what it is. So
yeah.
I have run into, as of late, the most non committalist. I know that's not a word. We're going to use it. Don't trip. The most non getting things doneist, the most non following up on what they say is people that I have. I mean, in my whole life, I've never encountered so many lackadaisical non ah, they just be talking in a circle about everything they're gonna do, yada yada yada. I'll call you tomorrow. 2 weeks later, you run into them someplace. They're like, "Hey man, how did that thing go?" Well, the thing didn't go because you never showed up and you never called. Right.
Ooh,
So I'm saying to myself, I must be the one that's crazy because I was under the impression that we followed up on things. We did what we said we were going to do. We blah, blah, blah. If you got a thought on it, I'd love to hear your thoughts, ideas, opinions, suggestions, convictions, beliefs. You always can email the show. We love those emails. You can actually put your comments below on the screen. Let me know. Are you crazy? If you crazy, I want to know that you crazy. Cause I'm telling you what, people, I am definitely crazy. I gotta be the one that's crazy. It can't be everybody else. It's gotta be me. So, welcome to the show today. My guest, she's a newcomer. She's never been on the Ace Michael show. She has no idea what to expect. But
mhm.
welcome to the show. This is a music artist today. There's a music artist
Wow.
on
Yeah.
the show. All right. So, we have today on the show, we have MarQue. MarQue, how you doing, Dorlin?
I'm I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I mean, I don't know that I've laughed this much in the morning.
I know, right? It is. Well, you might be crazy. See, you never
Yes,
know. You might be
yes.
the one who's crazy.
Right. I think I'll join you on that.
Yeah, it can't be everybody else. Everybody else is they got it figured out. It's got to be insanity in your own brain. That's what
Yeah.
it's got to be. Because
Yeah.
clearly you have expectations that other people don't have. Because you know.
Yes.
So Marquis, do you have a recent history of something that made you feel like you were the one that was crazy? You got a story you're willing to share
Oh,
about?
oh gosh. You know,
Or the-
one of the biggest things for me is, like you said, you talking to somebody and everything is going great and you say, okay, well, let's get back together or let's reconnect at such and such a time, such and such a day,
Mm,
and it's cricket, cricket, and you go,
right.
wait a minute, did we have this conversation? Like, did we did agree on this, right? We did make this appointment, right? Like, I put it on my calendar. Did you? Oh, you forgot. Or, oh, the best is when they say, oh, I got tickets to go see blah, blah. And you're just like, oh, okay. All right. Hey, do you, boo?
You know what? And I agree with all of those. I'm gonna take you to another level though. I'm gonna take you to another level. I had a car mechanic that wanted to work on my he wanted to work on my car. I was gonna take it to a shop, but he wanted to do the work. He said, at least by the way, not to throw any dirt on anybody, but I'm gonna throw a little bit. These are Las Vegas people who are doing this, by the way. I'm from Kansas. No, no, seriously. Now, I'm not even playing, people. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, where this is our state is called the Show Me State, which means
Ah,
that we don't claim to be singers if we're not singers. We don't claim to play a guitar if we can't play a guitar.
ooh,
We don't call it unless we about to ball it. You feel me?
right.
So
Okay.
I'm not really used to people saying that they do things they don't do. So anyway, this guy, he wants to be a car mechanic. He makes an appointment with me to come fix my car on a Saturday. Does not call, does not show up. I call him on a Sunday. He says, I'll be by this afternoon. Sunday turned into Tuesday. Still didn't get a call. Still, he never showed up. By Tuesday, he called me, says, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do this because I'm going to be pursuing a whole nother thing. I'm not even going to do car mechanic work anymore. And I'm sorry, but I'm just moving on. And I'm like, dog, you
Okay.
asked me to do like I could have dropped it off at this at the place. You know what I'm saying? Like that is an example of
Right. In the
why.
brick and mortar building that says it's an auto
Yeah,
repair
that the
shop.
the guy who's got his license up on the wall, I could have taken it to him, right? That's one an example of me being the one who's crazy. I must be
And
crazy if I think
yes.
you're gonna come and work on my car just because you say you're a car mechanic.
Right.
I'm
Come on.
crazy,
Come on,
right?
CeeLo Green. Come on. Come
And
on.
then, okay, so you're in the music business, so this is one that might ring true to heart. I had another situation recently. These are all like in the last week. Had a situation. Okay, well, we had a show, and I know
Uh-huh.
this is. Ooh, you're a musician, so I know you're gonna feel this. We had a show, and one of the musicians did not learn his songs that he was supposed to learn for the
Oh,
show.
bless. Okay.
So when he shows up and we're doing sound check, he clearly does not know the songs, right?
Okay.
So I just got frustrated. I'm not even going to talk to him about it. I'm like, whatever. You didn't learn the songs. You know what? There's a certain place in hell for you. You didn't learn the songs, so you figure it out,
You-
right?
Yeah, okay.
But then while we're on the break, getting ready for the show, and the band gets to eat before the show,
Yep.
he's like, "Hey, can I play all my little songs that I made on Suno, my AI versions of my songs that I've done? Can I put them up on the speaker so you guys can hear them?"
No.
Man, I'm about to commit a homicide at this point. I am seriously like, brother, I will take some kind of tool and I will work this tool on you in some kind of way. Like, are you serious right now? You serious right now? You
Uh-huh.
you didn't do the job you're paid to do
To
here.
do. Come
And
on.
now you want to use the opportunity that we have here to do something that is totally irrelevant. I
Yeah.
must be the one who's crazy.
Yep. Come on, CeeLo Green. Come on. Come on.
All right. Well,
You're a vegetable. You're a
right,
vegetable.
right. That part. That part. Okay, so I've been it for the most of the show. That's our time
Yes.
today, folks. Thanks for listening. Anyway, MarQue Munday, tell us about you. So you are in the music industry. And
Oh
that
my
is correct. You're in the
gosh.
music
This
industry.
this crazy
You're
business.
a
Yes.
recording artist.
Oh, artiste.
Yes, yes,
Artiste.
yes. Tell us about that. What,
Well,
how, and why?
well, I'll try to condense the story a little. I'm from New York, so I totally understand about the show me. You cannot jump up in places if you really don't have the goods because we will Apollo boo you out of the place.
Exactly.
And so it's like, okay, my dad asked me that when I was growing up. Why don't you go on the Apollo? I said, are you crazy? God rest his soul, you know. I'm like, yeah, no, I would definitely not do that to myself. But I grew up as a dancer, and dancing it kind of made it a lot easier. So you kind of were always in the room because you're part of the ambiance to
Mm,
make the show look good. And I was blessed to be one of the first Black Rockettes at Radio City Music
mm.
Hall. And that sent me out here. We had a show on the Strip for 5 years at the Flamingo Hilton at the time, from 95
Wow.
to 2000, which was fantastic. It was great. But I'm a musical theater major. And so I really, really wanted to sing, and just, I had the opportunity to do musicals. I did West Side Story. I did Dreamgirls, Little Shop of Horrors, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Really wonderful. And so when I got out here, I said, yeah, we're going to push that and let's work with a band. I had done some work with uh, a wedding band back in New York before I came out, and I thought, okay, you can do this. This is a transition. You can make this happen. And so after our show closed, well, before it closed, I started getting my feet wet a little bit. And once the show closed, then I really did, go ahead and transition into singing with a band. I had my own band,
Mm.
Marquee Diamond Butt, and we started at Sinbad's Lounge. I don't know if you remember that. It was in the Aladdin,
Oh, okay. No, I
and
don't, but that's okay.
and so, that was the thing, to transition to do that. So then becoming just a not, I shouldn't say just a singer, because singers are there. It's a lot of work.
Yes.
You stick yourself right out on Front Street, and whether you feel good or not, you're out there. So you figure it out. I always thought as a dancer I could hide in the background, but then again, if you have a sprained ankle or anything like that, that can be rough too. But yeah, I have enjoyed a long career, and I continue to perform. I'm getting ready to go to Australia this year
Oh, wow.
to do.
So you were saying, you caught my attention when you were saying you were a Rockette, which is really interesting. I was going to ask you, when I think of dance in New York, the first thing I think of is like the modern dancers, like the Alvin Ailey style.
Okay.
But then
Yeah.
the Rockettes, that's a whole nother level. I didn't even consider that. So before you just drop that in the middle of the sentence, how did you get involved in that? That's a whole nother level of game. Because you just don't become a Rockette.
No, you're right. Um, I grew up in a dance studio, and all of the teachers, as I was growing up, they went to do this audition. They were auditioning for the Rockettes. So I
Okay.
grew up with that in the background of my mind. So by the time I graduated out of high school, went to college, and had gotten involved through musical theater and performing,
Uh-huh.
when I looked in the backstage, newspaper where you look for all your auditions, and I saw auditioning for Rockettes, it rang a bell, it resonated, and I was like, okay, I got to go to this. It just it just was a natural to make sense.
Hmm.
Now, because I grew up in New York, because I knew Radio City growing up and what the Rockettes were, I did not have any expectation. I guess that's a good word, that I
Mhm.
would actually get the job. Does that make sense? Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't this was so when I graduated from college with a musical theater degree, and the teachers and professors said, out of every 100 auditions you do, you'll get one job. I sat down with myself and had a serious conversation.
Hmm.
And we're not going to waste our time going to every single audition. That just doesn't make sense. Not unless you just want to practice one day with people in front of you that can critique you. So you audition for the things that you would be best for.
Okay.
So do you audition for Brigadoon, or do you audition for Dreamgirls? I
Right.
audition for Dreamgirls. Do you go to Carousel and Forum, or do you go to Eight Misbehaving?
Right.
And so my very first audition in New York out of school was Dreamgirls. I did one audition, I got one job.
Mm.
The next one was The Wiz. I did one audition, I did one job, and that just made sense to me. Instead of me beating myself up, or continuing to put myself in, rejection is hard, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so, like I said, unless I was just going to get a free class, because if you go to a dance audition, they're going to give you a routine, so you go in warmed up, and you start to use your brain for that time of how quick I can pick this up, how quick I can perfect this.
Mm.
That's honing your skills.
Mm.
So I did that, and then so when I saw this audition for the Rockettes, I had come off tour. I was in Europe for 6 months, and I was in between the contract, and I said, "Well, I'm going to go," and so I went. There were 900 women at this audition.
Mm. And and
I
eh, and I just want to throw this because I was going to ask you what level of hard was this? To be a Rockette, I would imagine it is a certain level of complicated and very hard to get into. But then,
There,
since this is a big New York audition, don't they start off with like 900 people, and then by the end of the day, they've narrowed it down? Like
yeah,
it's pretty fast moving, right? Rapid
it
pace.
this was a 2-day audition, and in that first day, yes. So the first thing they did was a type. So you
Wow.
lined up, they lined up and looked at you.
Wow.
And they were like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes, no, yes, no, yes. Until I was number 648 or
Wow.
649, one of those. And they yes, no, and I made a yes. Okay, so that was the first cut.
Phew.
Then the next cut, they lined us up and they said, okay, we're going to do a tap routine. Well, since I had been dancing since I was three, tap it was just normal, especially musical theater tap, because that's what I was doing. I wasn't doing um, what I call Henry Latang or Savion Glover or Maurice Hines.
Mm.
That's hoof and tap, Bunny Briggs, and it's learnable, but and I can learn it, but that wasn't the skill I was at. We were at musical theater tap, so that was easy, and so we
Which
did that one.
Which,
Uh-huh.
by the way, Marquis, I know none of those names that you're saying. Like, you could have said any name.
Oh,
Like, musicians always do that. They'll be like, "Yeah, I was playing the gig with Lamont Toll Free," and I'm like, "Okay," and that is that is who exactly?
okay.
Unless they have like an adjective before the name, like Blind Dog Willie something, we might know who that is. But like those regular names, that we don't know. But I presume those are like luminaries in the tap dance industry.
Absolutely. So Savion
Okay.
Glover is your modern day Maurice Hines.
Okay.
Maurice Hines from Hines and Hines. There was a Hines brother. So you had Maurice and Gregory Hines. Gregory Hines you would know from Harlem Nights. I
Yes.
think I'm right on that. Yeah.
I
I
know
hope I
I
got
know
that one
him
good.
from singing with
Yes.
Luther Vandross, and
Okay.
not the ketchup,
Okay.
by the way. That's a different Heinz, people, just to
Yes.
clarify. Okay, yes, I do know that.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
great.
Okay. So Jimmy Side, Bunny Briggs, Sandman, those are older. They would have been with Sammy Davis Jr.
Okay.
So those are the staples in the hoofing tap industry that would have come out of when Ella and Dizzy were performing, or Duke Ellington, the Nicholas brothers. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
the Nicholas brothers were two brothers that, if you haven't seen them, just literally jump on Facebook, look up Nicholas Brothers or YouTube, and watch a clip, and they will blow you away. They are
Wow.
friggin' amazing. The things that they were doing acrobatics in tap dancing before anybody knew what that was, really.
Now I
So,
presume these brothers, I'm gonna presume they
uh
brothers.
huh, yeah, huh, they are
They're still
brothers.
alive and doing their thing, or this is back in the
No,
day.
no,
Okay.
no, 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 that's back in the day. So that's Duke Ellington
Oh
time.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is, and forgive me because I don't know the name, but there are two brothers out right now that are doing similarities to the Nicholas brothers and the
Mm.
Hines brothers. So it's like, you know how we evolve, and then you'll get like Michael Jackson. We got
Yes.
somebody out here doing Michael Jackson. We got somebody that's gonna live as Elvis forever
Got you.
after
Got you.
they've passed. So the torch has been passed, and I'm glad that we do keep those things going.
Hmm.
Um, all right, get me back on track because we have segued so far off
Well,
course.
we
The
were talking about you.
Rockettes.
It started with Rockettes, and so then you went to that audition, and I'm still trying to get a more grip. So it's a 2 day situation that you auditioned
Right.
for.
After you go through the tap, then they do a jazz routine.
Mm,
Then they do a kick line. So if you each one of those is an elimination process.
mm.
So I made it through the tap, moved on to the jazz, made it through the jazz, moved on to the kick line, which of course the kick line is the signature for the Rockettes. They call them eye high kicks. And it looks like everybody's kicking the same height at the same time in
Wow,
precision. So this is all about precision, which is what makes it difficult. As dancers, you want to express yourself, you want to kind of pull focus, be seen. That's not the line to do it in. You need to stay in the line,
wow.
look like everybody else, blend in, yeah, don't stick out. And so I actually made it through that cut. So that was the end of the day. And they said,
Oof.
okay, if you receive a call, we'd like to see you, and we'll let you know when the callbacks are. So I go home thinking, okay, just practice these routines, practice them, know them back and forth, so that if you get a call, it'll happen. I got a call,
Wow.
and the lady said to me, okay, well, we're going to be seeing people between 10 and 1. For me, the word between means that I can come between 10 and 1,
Mm-mm.
not from 10 to 1.
Mm-mm.
And so I'm New York. I'm pounding the pavement. I was at my temp job and I was like, I got to call back for the Rockettes. They were like, well, good luck, MarQue. Good luck.
Wow.
And so I run out at lunchtime. I took an early lunch at 11 o'clock and I go Midtown Manhattan to the stage door and they open the door and a flood of women comes out. And this one girl looked at me and said, you missed it.
Mm.
I was like, oh my God, talk about devastated.
Which is,
And
by the way, bless her heart for sharing the good news. Yeah,
right,
thanks,
exactly.
lady.
Right.
Appreciate you.
So the doorman goes, wait a minute, I'll call upstairs. I'll see if they're still there. And
Wow.
so he calls upstairs, and lo and behold, the director at that time, Bruce Michaels, says, "Please send her up." So they send the lady down. I go up, and they were like, we were so concerned. We thought something happened to you." And I said,
Oh wow.
I am so sorry. I said, I'm so sorry. I really thought it was between 10 and 1. I had my temp job this morning. Of course, they know that we all had either a temp job or were slinging tables or whatever as a waitress. And so the choreographer at that time and dance captain was Violet Holmes, rest her soul, because she worked directly with Russell Markert and he is the founder for the Rockettes.
Mm.
And she said, well, do you remember the routines? And I was like, yes. I stripped, put on my tap shoes. I was standing, I was ready.
Wow.
So I actually did a callback rehearsal, callback by myself. And then they had me sing. And then they interviewed me and they said, thank you. And
Mm.
I went on my merry way. And I was just like, okay. I was like, well, God, it's in your hands now.
Wow.
And I went back out on tour. And my mother called me October 10th of 1992, and I was in Europe,
Wow.
and said Radio City called and they want you. I was on tour and I was like, okay, deuces, see you later, bye. I'm out.
You can't. That's crazy nuts.
So
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, it definitely that was I call that the highlight of my career. And now having the opportunity to actually sing and star in a show, this is that next move. You know, training or singing with a band is very different than musical theater singing.
Yes.
Um, but still in the